Always take a deep dive, such a gorgeous sight to see you in It's gonna be the day that you're gonna throw it back to you. But now you should be somehow realize that you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. That day, the wall was on the street, that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you had it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the light that led us, they are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. 'Cause maybe you're gonna be the one that saved me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Today it was gonna be the day, but they never throw it back to you. But now you should be somehow realize that you're not the dude. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead to you were winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saved me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saved me. You're gonna be the one that saved me. You're gonna be the one that saved me.
Mama, take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore.
afternoon, sisters and brothers. May I invite you to your seat as well? And let me do a very quick, short admin briefing for all of you. So first of all, welcome to the NTUC Training and Placement Symposium. And the symposium will start proper at 3 p.m. Okay, this is also a reminder to all participants to adhere to safe management measures for the conference. Do keep your mask on at all times. Practice safe distancing, always keeping a 1 meter distance apart, and stay within the designated tables. There should be no intermingling across tables later after 3 p.m. Please note that photography and videography will also be taken during the event for the news and publicity purposes. And these publications will be online and electronic platforms. So NTUC owns all rights to the photograph and video recordings. So if you do not wish any of the photograph or videos recording of you taken, please inform my organizer. Also, a gentle reminder later, when our guest of honor is coming in, we will be taking a group photo with him. So do remain standing after when our guest of honor is in. Thank you. We'll catch up later at 3 p.m. Good afternoon, everyone. Please get seated because our guest of honor will be arriving soon. Please get back to your respective seats.
Today is gonna be the day that you're gonna throw it back to you. But now you should be somehow realize that you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. That day the war was on the street, that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you had it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, that led us, they are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. 'Cause maybe you're gonna be the one that saved me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Today it was gonna be the day, but I never throw it back to you. But now you should be somehow realize that you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead to you were winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. The many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saved me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saved me. You're gonna be the one that saved me. You're gonna be the one that saved me.
Mama, take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark to see. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. 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 Mama put my guns in the ground. I can shoot them.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers, and participants on Zoom. Let me welcome you to on your videos. Let's put our hands, please rise, and let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor, NTUC Secretary General, Brother Ng Chi Ming. We would now like to invite everyone to remain standing to take a group photo together with our online participants today. May I invite our participants online to on your video if you have not done so. Okay. Hi everyone. Please take a look here at our photographer on my right. Do keep your mask on and give your best smile. Say cheers online. Thank you everyone. Please be seated. A very good afternoon to Brother Ng Chi Ming, Secretary General of NTUC, Brother Chi Hong Tat, Deputy Secretary General of NTUC, Brother Tan Kok Yam, CEO of Skills Future Singapore, Brother Stephen Tse, Deputy ED of Singapore National Employers Federations, companies representative, union leaders, members of media, sisters and brothers, a very warm welcome to the NTUC Training and Placement Symposium. My name is Katty and I'll be your MC for today. It's amazing that amidst COVID-19 safe distancing measure, we are able to meet some of you here and many of us online today. So for those who are here, please wave to our Zoom participants. They can see us. And same goes for our online participants. Do wave back at us because we can see you as well. We also welcome our media friends who are here joining us today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Brother Ng Chi Ming, NTUC Secretary General, on stage for his opening address. SG, please.
A very good afternoon to all my sisters and brothers from the unions, fellow CC members from the unions, from the employer side, and from government. And warm greetings to all our friends from the media and those online. Today, again, is a happy occasion. To be able to do this symposium in person means a few things. That Singapore is opening up, measures are easing, business partners, taxi drivers can have a better outlook in terms of livelihoods and businesses. And of course, simply to just be able to see even colleagues that are working in NTUC for the first time in 6 months physically, like Barry, brings a certain joy of camaraderie, of refreshing of camaraderie. So I'm very happy to be here. But in the last 2 years, COVID has really surfaced tremendous challenges across all dimensions of life in Singapore and beyond. The challenges, I don't think I need to reiterate. Hello, I haven't seen you for the longest time too. The challenges, I don't think we need to reiterate. But neither actually the opportunities, because we have gone through it so much that COVID, while on the one hand presenting immense challenges, on the other hand, it has nudged or forced both employers and workers towards innovation and new ways of doing things. And I'm glad to say that NTUC and the labor movement, thankfully, out of the need to meet up with challenges of Industry 4.0, have embarked on innovation as early as 2018 and 19. We set up structures called the company training committees, first in 2019, and then ventured into Job Security Council in 2020. These were innovations not in anticipation of COVID, but just coping with the challenges that are surfacing in a restructured Singapore and a restructuring world economy. Thankfully, we did that. So throughout the last 18, 20 months or so, the labor movement, together with government, together with employer partners, have been able to weather the storms of COVID much better than many other countries. Thankful for prudent government that has saved up reserves that are opened up to shore up many economic aspects. Thankful for responsible employer partners like many of you here today in sometimes really compromising your own business interests to take care of all the stakeholders and not just your shareholders. And of course, thankful to my union leaders, sisters and brothers, including my staff, of actually shoring up workers to be able to adjust in give and take in the whole ecosystem we call tripartism. These innovations are important. And it is in that background that I'm very happy to inform all of you of another innovation that we have been thinking of and doing in NTUC. And that is the training and placement ecosystem that we have already started doing. What is that training and placement ecosystem that I'm talking about? Suppose RWS wanted to work with NTUC or other entities. In the past, you would probably have to go through NTUC Division A, B, C, and D. You actually would have to move from different departments, not unlike what we usually experience with government too, different ministry, different agencies. But that caused us to actually rethink whether we are best positioned to help workers where this friction is present for employers. And we thought, well, let's rethink. Instead of the company going through different agencies or hoops in NTUC, we have decided to flip the system around and create an ecosystem where we bring an integrated team to you. So that whether you are thinking about business transformation, that would result in job redesign, that would include potentially upskilling of workers, and including ultimately job matching, we want to bring an integrated team concept, what we call the training and placement ecosystem, to you. I see our brother from King Copton already nodding because he is one of the ones that we tried out this kind of system with. So what it means is that it's a one-stop shop. A single hub to bring in all the different aspects of Industry 4.0 transformation to Worker 4.0 onto a single hub to be accessed by all of us, including, hopefully, in time to come, government grants administered through NTUC or NTUC assisting companies to access government grants. Truly a one-stop shop. We are quite happy with the initial results, but I won't belabor that point because later I would get King Copton Hotel and Certec Engineering to give some of the views from employer partners that have come on board this training and placement ecosystem. Well, in concept, it is quite straightforward, but in putting everything together, it involves at least 4 different agencies in NTUC to bring this together. From E2I with the Job Security Council, some levels of job redesign, some level of job matching, to the training and transformation group, bringing the ops tech road mapping. You don't have to remember all the different specific namesakes, but essentially it is for business transformation expertise to training expertise, and importantly, now my last point in my short remarks, the executive arm of NTUC called Learning Hub, bringing together now upskilling possibilities to complete this ecosystem from front to end. So for employers, I hope you will facilitate your business transformation, your nudging of workers towards skill sets that that is needed. And importantly, when we reopen our economy, ultimately, you will find that you will have a happy problem. And that is called the shortage of labor. And when there are shortage of labor, please do not just go see my DSGs that may be working in government and ask for extra work passes, but think about job redesign, anticipating new possibilities for workers so that we can up overall Singaporean productivity, and that as a whole of ecosystem in Singapore rely less on foreign labor or invest Singapore talent or foreign augmentation into key areas of growth and not use up all the different quotas to do less productive, non-productive work. Let's use this opportunity, let's embrace the ecosystem in partnership with government and employers to see how we can up our overall system productivity. So LXP is our Learning Hub's latest innovation. Essentially, it is a single learning platform on your handphone. For the individual, what it means is that you have 75,000 courses online, essentially zero out of pocket if you use SkillsFuture grants and NTUC UTEP grants. Essentially zero. And in the tapping of your handphone, whether you are on the MRT, taking a break, accessing useful, accreditable courses that are online that will upskill your labor. What it means to some of our HR brothers like Gok Chong that is here, what it means is that you can use LXP. Where are you, Gok Chong? Yep. What it means is that with the HR, you can partner, utilize our company training committees to access all these possibilities. Often, employers will tell me, SecGen, it's very hard to get your workers to go for courses. But LXP will provide that convenience, and if we partner the CTCs, put in the necessary company-specific courses you want online and customizable to be used in the classroom as well. That way, what it means is that when you invest in new technologies, partnering LHub, IHLs, you can shorten the conversion of skilled labor into the new technologies in the shortest time possible, in parallel. That savings of money means that you will have the competitive edge, and when PSA makes better money, I hope you will continue to take good care of our workers. It's a win-win. That is what LXP is in the whole of ecosystem. And to my government sisters and brothers, know that this is a worthwhile venture to have an important expression of implementation in SkillsFuture. We know that SkillsFuture is a good program. It opens up our Singaporean mind to lifelong learning. But if we are humble enough to also acknowledge that there are teething issues in pushing lifelong learning to very busy Singaporean lifestyles. First, we have family to take care of, we have children to take care of, some of us have parents to take care of, and importantly at night, you have to tune into Netflix. So for all the different things that we are busy with, how do we insert what Hong Tat say as the Netflix of learning into your handphone that you can access anytime? Meld the interests of my workers, the interests of the HR, with the employers, with the government together, with that ecosystem, the likelihood that we are able to rethink, refresh lifelong learning, I think we will have a better chance to succeed. Version 1 will never be perfect. And in 6 months to 1 year, please don't ask me, has it succeeded or failed? This innovation is not about a one-step success, but with a transformation of idea, we will evolve our implementation to have version 1, version 2, version 3, to ultimately, hopefully, be able to be a personal learning management system for our workers. And with that personal LMS aggregated, hopefully to help not companies like PSA, but smaller companies like SMEs that may not have the full range of resources of HR to be able to help Taukes plan transformation from business reviews, business utilization of technology to pair up with workers' upskilling. That is powerful. So with that, actually, I look forward to the partnership from all our tripartite partners to fully exploit this ecosystem to make it a reality to benefit your companies and, of course, our workers. I eagerly await to hear from the rest of the speakers of the different ideas and hopefully some constructive criticism of what we can do better together as well. Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's a real pleasure to see all of you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, SG. Sisters and brothers, we are honored to have with us today Sister Alice Ng, Managing Director of Cetec Engineering, to share the transformation journey with us. Sister Ng, please.
A very good afternoon to Sir Ng Chee Meng and Sir Chee Hong Tat, and also all the distinguished guests here. First of all, I would like to thank NTUC for giving me such a precious opportunity to share our transformation journey here. Cetec is a SME precision engineering company, which we used to focus on mainly metal machining components. And our sales was actually badly affected during the this trade tension in year 2019. So when COVID strike, we want to be more proactive instead of letting the COVID situations to do more harm in our business. At this crucial point of time, and overseas customers approach us and ask whether are we interested to do this plastic medical equipment. And also at the same time, we also realize that there's a lot of inquiries to let us whether are we interested to do also fabrication jobs on mainly the plastic manufacturing. So at that point of time, our main or our core business is still metal machining. So instantly we realized that this metal machining, our core business, are unable to sustain us anymore. Therefore, we have to and we must transform our business. So, and from there, we started to enhance our technical capability to a higher level. We done so by introducing the niche process like plastic welding and plastic thermoforming. COVID-19 actually acted as a catalyst for us to get transformed, and even we want to ramp up our digital transformations as well. And CERTEC priority is to ramp up our digital transformations, manufacturing technology, and also our staff training in order to improve our productivity. In order to help our staff to pick up the skill sets and our new capabilities, CERTEC has set up a company training communities with AMEU to tap on the NTUC training and placement ecosystem support. We started our operations and technology roadmap together with AMEU team. This is also the first OTR that we carry out virtually during this circuit breaker. Oh, okay. Sorry, it's not. With the OTR, we had charted out 5 years roadmap. We are able to identify the strength and the weakness, the growth, and also the opportunities within our organizations. We listed out like the plans of implement the robotic manufacturing process, workforce expansion plan, inquiry our new factory, and our new business strategy at the same time. We are given grants to support on our new capabilities and also hiring of new employees through the Place and Train program. We embark our skill upgrading as well as job redesign. So we have a very good example. We have Auntie Susan, who is 67 years old. She used to be a packaging staff in our department. So we redesigned her job. Now she's able to use her this smart scope to actually help our QC to do all the QC check for our finished parts. We also have, for example, Mr. Hong, which is in his 40s. We actually re-upgrade the skill. He used to be a carpenter, and when he came to us, he was actually only know how to do hands-on job. So we retrained him, and now he's able to operate the CNC machines to help us to do the CNC precision plastic machining job. So we had so far 7 employees that we have hired through the E2I Place and Train scheme, and also the PCP support package. We also engaged with the NTUC on the L-Hub Go bite-sized e-training systems that's to support in-house and the on-job training. While our journey with AMEU and TMP, now we have moved to our new factory. Our robotic installations have done. The IoT system for the real-time data capturing of our machines better plan our production schedule has also in place. With all these exciting milestones we had achieved together with AMEU, we see that the value in partnering with AMEU and NTUC in our journey of transformations. We want to also ensure that no workers are left behind as our business transforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Ing. Up next, let's welcome Brother Kong Tiong Wah, Cluster General Manager of Kop Thong Kings Hotel and M Hotel Singapore. Brother Kong, please.
Good afternoon, SG Brother Chiming, DSG Brother Chee Hong Tat. I believe both of them had heard my speech before. So I want to start it off with these two Chinese words, 危机. Back in 2019, when the hospitality is having a great year, we just sat down to think about what are the things that we need to remember about 思维. That means that we're thinking about the crisis. In October 2019, I did a tabletop exercise on crisis. I think half of the table of my ex-com and department heads were laughing at me. What are you talking about? 2020 is walk in the park. The forecast was excellent. I practically we can sail through 2020 without much efforts. But we're probably the only team that went sit down and think about crisis. How are we going to do our transformation? How then we jump on with CTC, with NTUC, with the help of FDAWU. 23rd of January 2020, that's where the COVID started. Then we sat down and think, what are the opportunities that we're going to have? I'm talking about Qi Hui. That presentation, I did it for Brother Chee Hong Tat with Josephine Teo. So the crisis started. That's the first time in our 30 years of my career that I faced. Every day I receive like $500,000 of cancellation. So we went into, we went into a transformation strategy. We switched our strategy a little bit. We are thinking about how are we going to transform our business. I want to steal these 3 words. I love it. Yeah. I've been using it since the day I saw it. I use it during my briefing. I tell everybody about dream, dare, and do. The dream, dare, and do, right? So we went into a lot of transformation. We think about how are we going to secure job. Thanks to JSC. I use acronyms because maybe people think that half I work for NTUC, half of it, of my blood is NTUC, Labour Movement, right? So JASC was formed. FDAWU came in to help us. I must thank Brother Hock Soon, Hui Tin, Samantha, E2I, Gilbert, Vicky. When I know Vicky, her eyes was that big. Now she left half of it. So Rita and Su Pei, they came in to help us. We went through a hard time. We're talking about our revenue dropped to about 20% pre-COVID. But are they going to stop us? We are jumping on a huge opportunity of opportunity. We are going 100% on the transformation. Well, I will share a little bit on what are the results, the outcome. Everything that we do become an outcome. So we look at work, job redesign, job merger. We digitize almost everything that we can in the hotel. We look at lean management. Anything that is non-value add to our job, we will reduce. We look at our force, our strength, our capability of our people. How we're going to upskill them, we improve their knowledge. reskill and multi-skill them. We have a good 18 months. If anybody who have missed this 18 months, we ought to be shocked, because that's where we can build our force to be capable. We train their muscles. I'm one of them. I have a PRRD certifications. I'm a qualified swabber. I went for my digitization course, channel distribution course. My next one is sustainability. So we went to build our muscle. So what is CTC? We go back to the basic. We go back to CTC. That is our core, our root to the company. Okay? I believe my HR can share with you, when I first sent people for training in 2018, everybody went to complain about this GM, you're forcing me to become a security. And I have a lot of my colleagues now, they have a second career because of the downsizing. We now have 72 of our staff has a PRRD certification. And it's a 10 days course, 7 days training, and 3 days examinations. I must thank NTUC Learning Hub. Jason helped me to organize that. We have it in the hotel. Every batch is like every 10 people is 100 work days gone. 60% of our Singaporean and PR has a PRRD license. And one of them is an autistic staff. Lim has been working with us for almost 3 years. And he went to take on the PLRD. We have special people to guide him until about 10 o'clock at night every day. And especially the second module, you have 5 scenarios and almost 92 questions, role play. So the outcome. So our people are more capable. We build their strengths. I'm also a swabber. I can do PCR, OP, and ART. So we have 15 of us that went in to do the 3.5 days training. And then we are also given as a PET center by MOH. So we are building capability. In the month of July, August, when we have 1 or 2 staff that positive, we activate all this swabber, we go in, we do ART and PET. So we are building capability within the company. We don't have to send people or activate any company to come and do swabbing for us. So that journey is the root of CTC. This year, it's been a very busy year for us. We still have about 5,130 hours for one of my hotel and 5,600 hours of training hours for my hotel. Practically, we send 4 persons out for training almost every work day. That is the outcome of CTC. Okay, we have a range of people that minimum have 3 to 4 skills. My director of sales is also a security, is also a swabber. He's doing sales. I have an F&B staff who did his digital marketing. He knows Google, WeChat marketing. He is also a revenue analyst. He's also a security. He's also a swabber. So one skill, one job, multi-skill. At the far right-hand side is actually our colleague that is autistic, PWD, and he also he finished his florist training. He also done his PLRD training. OTR. NTUC TNT was formed. We leveraged on that opportunity. We built on our OTR, our 5 years roadmap, on looking at external driver, internal driver, looking at talent, resources, technology. We came up with a plan. So I want to share the outcome. We have completed 47 technological projects in the last 2 years after OTR. Practically, that if you come to the hotel, we're using IoTs, we're using solutions to run the business. We left our people to serve the customers rather than doing all this repetitive work in the hotel. We look at lean management. We look at what we have put in OTR. We then implement it. We have done total top 10 job redesign in the hotel that I will share the outcome later with everybody. Yeah. So what's in it for me? I call it gain sharing. I didn't want to touch PWM at this point of time, but I'll be talking about gain sharing. This is Sui words, gain sharing in 2013-14. So we went back to say that we should not rob Peter and pay Paul. We should be giving back Peter some money. So 47% of our people got a salary adjustment over this crisis. It's the most difficult time that hospitality has. And this is a time that we did 47% of our workforce that has a gain sharing, and 37% of the workforce in M Hotel has the gain sharing. Anybody who has upskill will jump on a CTC. As long as you acquired a good skill, we will give you the gain sharing. What's the percentage? I've shared with FDAWU. So it's an amazing journey for the hotels. Moving forward, LXP, I call it everyone, every day, everywhere. So you can do it for everybody. You can do it everywhere you are in, and any time that you have a couple of minutes. It's as the bite-sized training is small as 5-10 minutes all the way to hours. And then we continue to promote the one job multi-skill strategy in the hotel. As for placement, we are committed with 10% inclusive hiring. Inclusive hiring is always our passion. We are also looking at PME conversion as well as the matured workers. We did a lot of transformation for the matured workers. We look at how heavy is the machine, how efficient is the machine. We will buy new machine because of them. So we want to retain this workforce. We will continue to make them employable during this time. I am always welcome you to do a learning journey if you want. For the next 10 years, we want to share our success with the people. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, and please trust what we are doing, the transformation. There's the light in the tunnel. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kong, for the inspiration sharing. Following up, let's put our hands together to welcome Brother Jeremy Ong, CEO of NTUC Learning Hub, to share with us the current learning and development landscape, as well as the challenges of workforce learning in Singapore. Brother Ong, please.
Secretary General Chi Meng, Deputy Secretary General Chee Hong Tat, L-Hub Chairman Eugene Wong, and esteemed guests both here and online. A very good afternoon to every one of you. As all of you know and aware and have experienced for yourselves, the disruptions due to the COVID-19 pandemic over the past 2 years were unprecedented. The pandemic has brought about many changes. First, the way companies operate and the transformation that they have to go through in order to survive in the newly transformed economies. Second, the mode of working for employees, whereby working from home is now the norm. And third, the accelerations of digitalization and the acceptance of the use of technology at the workplace and in your daily lives. Similarly, the way we people learn have also evolved during this period. Therefore, today, I'm sharing with you embracing and habitualizing learning. To understand Okay, now it works. To understand what learners need and how learning delivery should adapt, we at NTUC Learning Hub consistently and constantly seek views from the ground to uncover trends in adult learning in Singapore through our research papers. During the height of the pandemic, we found out that hybrid learning has been gaining popularity among Singaporeans. More than half of our survey respondents, 54% of them, revealed that they prefer to upskill through a mix of online and face-to-face courses. This is because they would get the best of both worlds through the hybrid mode of learning. While instructor-led and in-person courses would give a more personal touch and a dedicated attention, asynchronous courses give learners the autonomy and convenience to learn at their own pace. We also sought to understand the motivations behind why Singaporeans are learning online. Not surprisingly, the answers are mostly linked to employment outcomes, a direct correlation. From the top 3 reasons cited, we can see that they are looking for modular and bite-sized learning so that they can be precise in the areas that they want to upskill. By wanting to progress in their current field, it also shows that some are hungry to upskill to advance their career. There are also people who want to make a career switch. Hence, they are learning new skills to enter into a new field. The enthusiasms towards upskilling have also led many employees to enroll for training outside of their workplace, beyond what is already offered by their companies. Lastly, we also see a strong link between training and staff retention, as 80% of the respondents say that the availability and the comprehensiveness of training are major considerations when they decide whether to stay with the companies. To many, L&D programs demonstrate a company's vested interest in developing their employees, not only to boost companies' capabilities, but also to inspire staff loyalty. Oh, they moved twice, huh? Yeah, okay, my apology. Let me see. Okay, so I should be here now. Okay, what are the challenges in upskilling? As much as employees are keen to be trained and to learn, there are challenges that they face in their upskilling journey. Through our research, we realized that many employees are not satisfied with the current training programs offered in their organizations. This is a waste of resources and also a missed opportunity when training comes out short of employees' expectation. To address some of the reasons cited by employees on why they are not satisfied with company-offered programs, we recommend, first, to provide a wide range of courses so that employees have the options to choose whether it is for work-related purpose or is it purely out of interest. And to deliver training in a variety of formats and learning modes, and to customize L&D programs to make them more specific to the individual's role and the career advancement. Another key reasons for not going for training and upskilling is something we all hear a lot about, and that is lack of time. Satjan talked a bit about that just now. I think this sounds very familiar, right? I'm guilty of that as well. So time, or rather the lack of, was found to be the top challenge and roadblock to employees participating in L&D programs. Employees also voiced their concerns of having to participate in training outside of their work hours. This has highlighted the urgent questions of how can organizations inculcate a learning culture within the company. Through these findings, we see a need to bring learning closer to people in a way that they prefer and feel motivated to help workers in their upskilling journey and also to address their key concern of the lack of time. For examples, bite-sized courses as short as 15 minutes or learning tool to allow them learning on the go from their very own smartphones anytime and anywhere. With this in mind, we have developed the one-stop online learning mobile apps, the NTUC Learning Hub Learning Experience Platform, and it's called LXP in short. So what do we want our LSP platform do for you? We envisage the LSP to be the key enabler for both individuals and companies to embrace learning, to make learning a part of your daily lives, to help you upskill, reskill, that you will always remain relevant and competitive. And of course, besides encouraging our Singapore workforce to embrace and habitualize lifelong learning, we seek to boost the employment and employability of our workers as you upskill, reskill, and multi-skill. We also hope that LSP will play a key role in the transformation journey for companies, as the development of human capital is always very important for every organization. Now, to Learning Hub, LSP is not just a digital platform. It is a whole ecosystem involving various stakeholders. As you can see from the slide here, workers, companies, government and NTUCs, trainers, and content partners, they all play an equally important role in the entire ecosystem. While the stakeholders benefit from LXP, they also contribute to the ecosystem in their respective ways. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Workers can attend bite-sized learning on-the-go courses anytime and anywhere via the LXP app, and they get to upskill and reskill in the process to improve their employability. But at the same time, through the courses that they attend, we gain insights to the learning habits and the interests of our learners. For example, what type of courses interest them, their preference for shorter or longer courses, and the job roles that they aspire to undertake, etc. This helps us source from content partners for more relevant courses, more relevant contents that satisfies the learner's needs, and from trainer partners for various modes of course delivery that is more effective. As a stakeholder, companies provide the insights on job roles that need to be filled, or skills that are needed for certain job roles. Through our learning and the talent analytics, we help to upskill and reskill the workers to plug the skills gap and fulfill the job roles, to transform workforce to meet business objectives. Another key stakeholder, very important one, the government and NTUC plays an important role in this whole ecosystem by providing fundings and the support schemes so that training is made accessible and affordable for all. In addition, with the data from the larger national learning landscape, such as in-demand jobs and emerging skills, we are then able to support the government and the NTUC's jobs and skills agenda through the courses LSP provides. In short, every stakeholder has to play a role and in this whole ecosystem, and LSP needs the collective efforts from all stakeholders to be successful. Okay, in a nutshell, this slide summarizes LSP is to the users. It is a mobile app that offers the best-in-class learning content and the resources on the platform. It allows you to attend bite-sized courses anytime and anywhere so that the lack of time as excuse will not come between you and learning. With 75,000 courses across more than 60 categories, the available courses are comprehensive enough, and further enhancement and customization can be made to meet specific needs. As for the companies, you can leverage an integrated LMS to better manage your learning and development needs. And with the availability of the data analytics, to gain a better knowledge of your workers' competency gaps, so as to recommend appropriate courses or customize specific ones for them to attend. Okay, this slide shows the features available for individual learners. There are another one for the companies in the next slide. I will not be going through all the features, certainly, but instead, I would like to highlight some key ones for your attention. Every course that you attend will be stored in the skills bank on the app. This is similar to the National Skills Passport for My Skills Future portal. We are going to integrate our skills bank with the National Skills Passport to provide you with a one-stop depository for your academic certificates, your skill certificates, and achievements. In time to come, LSP will also be a platform that offers stackable micro-credentials, whereby you can take certain modules via the app in conjunction with the traditional courses offered by LHub or by Institute of Higher Learning, leading towards a skills-based certification recognized by the industry and employers. Again, this is with the view of improving workers' employability and their employment. Many of the features from LSP can be personalized to the individual's needs. For example, you can do a personality assessment to identify your skills gaps via the analytics feature, and to get a course recommendation based on your skills gaps and the job roles on your wish list. And to have the LXP do a skills job matching for you to further your career. Now for the companies. Also for the interest of time, I'll just cover a few key features. Besides the 75,000 courses already on the LXP, you can upload your own in-house contents onto the app for your employees. We can even help you to curate relevant courses specific to your industry and to your company's requirements. The user interface can be personalized based on your preference. LSP can become your learning management system or be integrated with your existing LMS to expand its scope and functionalities. Through our employee profiling and talent mapping feature, we hope to help companies identify the existing skills of their workers versus the skills required for certain job roles, and to plug the skills gap with recommended courses, and to eventually match the employees with the newly acquired skills to the job roles identified. Last but not least, we recognize that the companies send workers for training really to meet certain objectives, for certain outcomes. So with the analytics feature, we seek to link training to actionable outcomes to better meet your business objectives. So with this, I've come to the end of my presentation. I hope through my sharing, you will now feel more inspired and encouraged to embrace and habitualize lifelong learning so that you and your organizations will always remain relevant and competitive in this newly transformed economy. So let me just quote Seth Jen, what he has said at the NTUC Ordinary Delegates Conference last week. Just do it. Download LXP and use it now. Thank you. Enjoy the video.
Look for your hunger food, wait for your cap. Make the fast over time, don't just stand there and slack. Over 75,000 courses, 60 categories. You'll be more than content with our content. From our world-class partners in sales and marketing, blockchain, technology, learn about leadership, and even yoga mastery. Yes, you can do it cheap.
Thank you, Brother Ong. I hope you have enjoyed the video as well. So again, we rally. You can download now and use it now. Okay, sisters and brothers, we have come to a very exciting segment of this afternoon program. The signing of Memorandum of Understanding for the NTUC Learning Hub Learning Experience Platform, in short, LXP. Okay, the MOU signifies the strengthened tripartite collaboration to democratize world-class knowledge and make online accessible for Singapore workforce. NTUC Learning Hub will work closely with Singapore Skills Future, SNAF, and employers to ensure that learning is kept affordable for Singaporeans, and now allowing Singaporeans to use your Skills Future credit to defray the cost for subscriptions. And we also work with SNAF members to support organization jobs and transformation efforts to allow employees to do on-the-go training that leads to strong employment outcome. And all this are only made possible with all our tripartite partners here today to signify this MOU with us. Let me welcome Brother Kong Tiong Wah, Cluster General, Manager of Copthorne Kings Hotel Singapore and M Hotel Singapore. Brother Kenneth Tan, Head of Certis Corporate University from Certis Cisco Consulting Services. Brother Stephen E, Deputy ED of Singapore National Employers Federation. Brother Jeremy Ong, CEO of NTUC Learning Hub. Brother Tan Kok Yam, CEO of Skills Future Singapore. Brother Tan Hee Teck, CEO of Resorts World Sentosa. Brother Nelson Quack, MD Container Business of PSA Corporations. Sister Alice Ng, MD of Certec Engineering. And we are also honored to invite our witnesses for today, Brother Ng Chi Ming and Brother Chi Hong Tat on stage. Please keep your mask on at all times when you're on stage. Dear come, sisters and brothers, join me at this moment to witness the signing of LXP MOU. Signatories, please. Thank you our tripartite partners, companies, representatives, and union leaders who are able to join us today. May I invite you to stand and hold the MOU for our photo shoot. Let's pose for the photo shoot. Let's give a round of applause to signify this important moment. Thank you. And you may now return to your seat, please. Okay, sisters and brothers, we have now come to the next segment. So while my guys help to set up the stage, I would like to introduce you very quickly to this new platform. Okay, so please give your attention to the screen. Okay, and I would like to invite all the Zoom participants to join me at this little simple poll session as well. We are going to use this platform called Slido. Okay, and if you have a mobile phone with you now, please log into with your mobile phone. You can scan the QR code or type in slido.com and key in the event code. Okay, maybe a good number for today. Okay, so the event code is 454595. And for participants who are online, you're not forgotten, you're still with us. Please join us in this poll. You can scan the QR code and type in slido.com and type in the event code 454595. Okay, so this Slido platform will also allow us to actually interact with the panel discussion later. So let me ease you into this. Let's start with our very first question. We'd like to know, together with us here today, where are you from, including the participants online. You can select one of the options here, and let's see where you're from. Wow, looks like we have a lot of SMEs today, and I think we have a good mix of different companies, public sectors, and workers' representative. Great, you look like you are getting hang of this Slido. Great. Okay, let's try to move on to the next question, which we are generally more interested in today. What is your key area of interest? You can select more than one options. Whether your business will be keen in doing business transformation, development, training. Oh, suddenly there was a lot. Training is a hot topic, yes. And part of this action, you're already digitalizing yourself, getting onto this platform. Okay, looks great. You are getting the hang of this, and we will be addressing more of this topic later part of the day at the panel discussion. Okay, when you see in your Slido app now, you should see another tab that says questions. So I'd like to invite you to post your questions anytime during the panel discussions, okay, and we'll take the questions later at the Q&A session. Great. Without further ado, let me now invite let me invite our panelists for today for the panel discussion. Brother Loganathan Ramasamy, CEO of ST Logistics. Brother Tan Kok Yen, CEO of SSG. Brother Jeremy Ong, CEO of NTUC Learning Hub. Brother Chi Hong Tat, DSG of NTUC. Brother Stephen Yee, Deputy ED of SNAF. And of course, Sister Alice Ng, MD of Certec Engineering. Last but not least, we have our moderator, Sister Karen Lam, Director of Seracop. So be reminded, you can post your questions and we can take it at the Q&A sessions. Karen, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Kathy. SecGen, DSG, distinguished guests, we want to thank our panel for being here today. And I guess if we start with the diverse list of interests that people have, and a lot of them have said they're interested in training. I guess the first question is for DSG Chi. Companies may have different needs. But what I'm hearing is that the TNP ecosystem, it doesn't matter what your needs are. They just approach the NTUC and the ecosystem helps them with that.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good question to start with. We don't want to presume that we straight away know what the company's needs are without first establishing a relationship and having a better understanding or what their requirements are. So this is what we hope to do when we set up the company training committee, CTC, and then after that, to bring the management representatives together with union leaders and the team from NTUC, the training and placement ecosystem, come together, have a discussion. First, understand what is it that from the company's point of view are their most pressing needs and requirements. And this can vary because for an MNC, they may already have their plans, training plans, their strategies, all quite well worked out. They also have the resources to be able to invest in training. They also have, in certain cases, the equipment and the technology in place. So maybe what they need in that case would be how we work with them to redesign some of the jobs, to do placement of workers through E2I. And of course now with LXP, we hope they can sign up LXP and use that as an additional training tool for their workers. But for some of the SMEs, they may come from a lower base because they may not have the resources and the processes all in place. So that's where I think the conversation and that ops tech road mapping or OTR can come in quite useful. It is a process to build trust and understanding. And from there, we can then see which tool in the NTUC training and placement ecosystem toolkit we can pull to help the company. But it has got to be customer-centric to fit what the company and the workers will require. Then I think we can achieve good results.
Thank you, DSGG. Actually, we happen to have an MNC and we also have an SME on our panel. So I'm going to go to the companies now and ask for their experiences. And maybe let's start with Surtech. Okay, I know, you said you've already shared with us your experience. How did you interface with, what was your interface point with NTUC? How did you join that ecosystem?
Well, because we first engaged with NTUC Union, where we have to go through the OTR. So when we went through the OTR, we find that it is so useful. And in fact, a lot of milestones that we have wanted to do so had realized. So, and from there, we also get to know more. I mean, we have more chances to get to know about the LXP. And we are really interested because mainly, as a small SME, the resources is very limited. So if government would have provided this platform and let our employees know there's this very good way to learn and upskill themselves. So I guess this is a very good chance for them. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think the MNC experience is quite different. So Logan, we want to share. I know ST Logistics has been in touch with NTUC for a while. How did that,
Yeah, so we are one of the founding members for Supply Chain Employees Union, and it was established about 2 years ago. And it's been very useful because many of our employees are part of this union. And the company has been undergoing transformation for the last couple of years, digitalization, automation, and all that. We all know the emphasis on these things because the demands and challenges in terms of adopting technology has been increasing tremendously over the years. And the company has been putting in a substantial amount of money investing in automation and digitalization. But we realized that the other core pillar to this success of our automation efforts and digitalization efforts is really lies on the people and upgrading their skills. Otherwise, all the money that we put into technology, transformation, and all these things will come to nothing if our people concurrently don't upskill, reskill, and adopt the skills. But one of the key challenges is that many of you know that the logistics industry is not a sexy industry. Not many young people come and join us. We have workers who are actually in the 40s and 50s, a large percentage. But it's incumbent upon our company to make sure that these are our assets. These really are people who have been with us thick and thin for many years. It's incumbent upon us to make them feel comfortable, to handhold them, to say, look, technology is nothing, because if you hold a smart handphone, I'm sure today all our workers are holding a smart handphone because they don't swipe the card anymore, they just scan their handphone and come in. We all know they are holding smart handphones. You can make the transition very easy. So it is to make them feel very comfortable, very easy, and I think we'll carry them along. Just an example, if I take a little bit more time, right? We have moved and make sure that, we can do all this training, right? It's important, and I'm very happy that LXP and all that have a lot of training schemes and all. But once you complete the training, if you go back to your workplace and you don't use your skills, it's just another training, right? Hence, what we have done is that we have moved our HR system, some of the systems, into an app. So if you want to access your payslip, and that's the most important to workers, right? You have to go to the app, you have to log in, and you have to go and find your own payslip. You have to apply leave, you have to go to the app and apply leave. So he has a smartphone, he is forced to in some way. I mean, training and adapting to these things in some way, I will say, is a lot of encouragement, but you also have to force them to move into these things. So we found that a very big success, and I'm happy that we're on the right journey. It's not about a question of whether going for training or how long and so on. It is an expectation. Workers feel good about it. Yeah.
But workers can also feel discouraged or, and just now Jeremy, you shared, right? They can also say, I don't have the time for training. So maybe this is for everyone, right? How do you see employers, what role can employers play in helping their learners be comfortable, as you say, Logan, with training? Or encouraging them to go and use like platforms like LXP?
Okay, it's all about training. That's what LXP does. So I want to say something. Yes, yeah. So I think DSG brought out a very important point, and I fully agree. In training, it really have to be worker centric. It's serving his needs, right? So what we want is when a worker go for a training, what is in his mind is after going through this training, is it going to help me in my employment? If today I am employed, will it continue to keep me current? Will I be able to continue to do this job for the next few more years? If I'm going to be displaced because I know that the company is going to go through transformation, will it prepare me ahead in the new skills that I need to continue to be employed? So I think training is really have to be worker-centric. And I also think it has to be company-centric because this day company really go through a lot of challenges, if you ask me. In my previous company, the first thing to go when the COVID hit is training budget. The next one is marketing budget, and both I'm hit. So, I felt that in peacetime, this is where we miss. That's why I talk a bit about habitualizing lifelong learning. When do you prepare yourself? When disruption comes, you will be under compressed time to need to learn new skill, reskill your people very quickly, but the competition will be very keen. For the poor soul, the workers say, oh gosh, I got to fight with so many people, Can I reskill and train myself quickly to learn new skill, to be placed on a new job? I think what we really need to do is peacetime, right? Peacetime, you have the comfort to learn at your own pace, yeah? Therefore, companies must really, really encourage workers, employees to go for regular training. And the trick is, give them what is useful. So I talk a bit about, you can customize training, right? So only if companies can provide more insights, yeah? What are the things that need to be trained? And you know that your company is going forward in these changes in the next 1 year, there will be new skills that is needed. Surface it, make it clear, right? So that then we can either do it a very structured way, plan forward, or we can also, nudge an employer a bit and say, you want a job or not? You want a job, please go for the training. So I think that's my view. I think that was very well said. Okay, it has to be worker-centric.
Unless you want to... I would like to add on something. It's like for us, we actually went through a business transformations. And we implement robotics technology process. So a lot of our old staff, they probably are very worried. They feel that, are they going to be replaced? In actual fact, we have to talk to them and let them understand. We will retrain them. We will still retain them. So this is like we're going to improve our productivity, and it's going to benefit the company. So I guess we as an employee, especially SME as employers, we need to also communicate with them and let them know that training is very important.
Let me just add. I think it is very admirable to see companies go on this journey, because it is not just, as I think Jeremy and Alice you point out, it is not just about giving people time to train. It is also about recognizing the training, expressing what is required for the job in the language of skills, in the language of what you can do to stay employable, to stay meaningfully engaged, to stay useful. So it is always much easier to say, well, you need 3 years experience in UI UX design or 3 years experience in digital marketing, and that's always the easy thing to do. But to be able for a company to break that down into what exact skills you need, and then to give the workers, give the employees a chance to pick up those skills, that's not easy, but I think it's a very important and critical part of this whole training ecosystem.
And Stephen, you want to share the SNAF perspective?
I just want to add on to all the speakers here. Basically, I think in SNAF, we started in 2016. We talked about, at that point in time, we talked about Sapphire, which is workplace transformation. I think that's the stage where At that point in time, I think everyone is pushing for digitalization. But we somehow came out with a bold move. We also aligned with the government, likewise with our brothers and sisters from NTUC. I think in Singapore, I'm glad that we have an employee union that talks about productivity, talks about skills, and obviously wages as well. So we are very fortunate. And today, I also want to congratulate NTUC L Hub for taking they dream about it, they go for there, and to do, I think SNAF would definitely wants to support. For one very obvious reason, is that today, I think if you look at the future of work reports and all that, it is needless to say that every one of us needs to learn new skills. In fact, the recent McKinsey reports is even very scary. Every 18 months, one will lose 40% of the skills if we do not upkeep. Now, in Singapore, I think we have a workforce that is quite matured. Okay? And there's plenty opportunity for us to ensure that we upkeep our skills. Employers out there, as you evolve your business, you pivot your business, it's needless to say that never just look at technology equipment alone. Obviously, look at the skills of the people that comes along with it. That is the important thing. You have to look at the people, the skills of your people that goes along with you. And obviously, this is a very important factor. In fact, we were thinking of how to even collaborate with Gilbert and the team. In fact, we set up a meeting 1st December prior to this, me signing the MOU. So the MOU signed already, got to work on it. But we're very excited. But you see, the interesting part of it, from the outsiders, you will imagine why the Employers Federation collaborate with the employer union. For one obvious reason, there are certain things that we think that we can leverage and work together, and we don't have to duplicate. In fact, we save the government a lot of money, you know, if I do it with that. Right? So I think once we give you a holistic, I'm sure the government will definitely support it. And I think each of us got our own constituents to look after, our own branding. But that doesn't mean that we cannot collaborate. In fact, by collaborating, if we can move faster, even at the speed of light. Because you look at it, in today's context, sometimes speed matters a lot. Okay, and I would like to also mention one thing with Jeremy on board. There are certain contents that we can develop uniquely for Singapore. Look at it, the tripartite standards and all that. We should be putting up that. If you can't sleep, read that. Actually, I don't advise you to do that. In fact, you should be reading it before you sleep. Okay, let me just emphasize that again from both the SG and the DSG. So forget about watching Netflix. I can still watch, but remember, do spend half an hour to an hour, and actually that is the way how we learn things. Okay, for the PMET, the bosses out there. Obviously, for the workers, the skill is always a very important thing. Okay, you have to accept the fact that you will have to learn new skills. Sometimes unlearn also no choice, because as the economy picks up, you realize that certain trades just disappear. Okay, I can tell you my first job was from technology. I spent 15 to 20 years, I say I cannot catch up with the youngsters anymore. I decided to do other things like training and so on. So I think that's how we evolve ourselves, and I think there's more opportunity, Jeremy, that we should work together in order to benefit all our brothers and sisters out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Stephen. I just want to quickly respond that, and thank you for being our LSP advocate. And also, yes, I'm all for partnering together to do our job better. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. DSG?
Yeah, I think this is very, very heartening to hear from our business leaders and also our partners, SNAF, SSG, on the need to work together. And this is crucial because Sister Alice mentioned earlier about the workers being anxious, right, when they see transformation and change. It's natural. Now, besides having the assurance coming from the employer, it will be doubly reassuring if they can also hear the same encouraging messages from the union leaders. So union leaders can also reassure them, say, don't worry, this change is actually in the end good for you too. It will create better jobs with higher wages. I think Surtech's experience is a good example to illustrate that we don't have to fear transformation because it can lead to better outcomes that is win-win, good for the company and good for workers. I think when we look at technology, which is a very key part of any transformation in the current environment, I fully agree also with the panelists that training has to go hand in hand. And because at the end of the day, there's actually one very important element, which also starts with T, which is trust. Without that trust, you can't bring the workers along, the transformation will not be complete and will not be sustainable. Right? And from the workers' point of view, if they can be part of the process of the transformation, there's greater buy-in, there's greater ownership, and for many instances, actually the workers have good ideas that they can contribute, how to improve productivity, but they have to be part of the process. They have to feel that they own the transformation process together with management. So I think if we can do that, then that will allow us to actually bring what our model of tripartism has always been about, collaboration and creating a larger economic pie so that there's more for both employers and workers to share. Yeah, thank you.
And I just want to touch on that word that you mentioned, DSG, about trust. Because trust in a company, how can a company build trust between the leaders and the workers? Logan, I'm going to look at you because I know you went on a huge, SD Logistics went on a huge, massive change management process.
I'm glad you bring out this point on trust because I always take reference from my HR director, Wong Tong, who's here, who's from the RSF and spent many years there. He said the best welfare you can give to your people is to train them properly, you know. So this entire LXP and things like that, where we talk about bite-sized training, learning anywhere, anytime, and all these things are very useful, conducive for the companies and the workers, because in the past, the traditional way of doing training is to go and attend a course for 2 days, 3 days, and then he's missing from the workplace and all that. And people fear, right? Sometimes they go alone on their own and all that. But today, we can set up laptops in the company and he can come and sit down there. Somebody can guide him. You say, don't have to worry. You coach him and guide him. Say, look, if Yan can cook, so can you, kind of, things. Because honestly, it's a thing because you have workers from all age groups and you need to customize it for them, build trust and confidence in them to say, look, don't worry, you're with us, you know. And if you upgrade and you reskill, you're with us for a longer time, you know. So there is a stake for both of us, the workers as well. And I think the COVID has highlighted this thing that really every Singaporean worker counts. I think SG used to talk about it, everybody counts, right? And I think this COVID has highlighted this significantly that even every older worker counts because he has to upgrade, reskill. You can't find and you can't look elsewhere for workers. What you have is what you have. I think we better train them and make them employable for a long time to come. Yeah.
And actually, I was also going to ask Alice, because I watched one of your corporate videos, and there's a lovely story about Jeremy. Can you tell us more about Jeremy and how he changed his mindset about learning?
Oh, actually, just now you asked about trust. I was about to relate this about Jeremy. Because trust, like SME, when we talk about trust, somehow we relate it to salary or the bonus or something like that, like how much we can offer them. But I guess there's another thing that we should look into. That's called career progress. All right, so Jeremy is a very good example. He worked with us and he started off as a driver. All right, so he gradually progressed. Of course, he do training, he do self-upgrading at the same time. So from there, and now, because we went through the career progress with him, in fact, now he's already our GM in Surtech after working for us for 15 years. He's only at his 30s. So trust for us is really look into the career progress for individual, right? We can plan for them because if they work so hard for us, Like they want to know where they can go. So this is something that we should look into.
And I'm going to throw it to Stephen now to say, is this something that other employers, you've heard Logan, you've heard about Alice, is this something that other employers can emulate or can move towards?
Okay, sorry, I didn't get your last few words. What do you say?
Can other employers be like them?
I think so, definitely. Okay, I mean, you're asking a question to the employees. I tell you what is needed actually, this culture of trust, okay, the culture of trust is actually a cultural thing from top downwards. Okay, I truly agree with what Elise says, that at the end of the day, that a better organization, let's talk about better organization, let's not compare. Better organizations always has a few things in place. First, your HR processes, your policy must always be there. And how do you communicate well and in return build that trust? That is important. If you don't do that, seriously, I think all of us experienced pandemic last year. How some company managed to pivot and bring the people along. If you have not built that trust, what will happen? I think needless to say. Now, evolving over time, if the build of trust is also there, you realize that a lot of the answers actually lies with the people. Okay, not necessarily from the management team. Okay, obviously, senior management must set a certain direction, even make a certain decision, but the answers lies with the people, your people. And in fact, we have been all the while trying to talk about trust, even in our training curriculums and so on. It's just that we recently found that the last 2 years is increasingly, probably COVID-19 has helped us to amplify that. And companies are starting to realize that they need to do that. First and foremost, I think echo words that came out very strongly, job redesign. Now, we work very closely with WSG for job redesign under the Productivity Solutions Grant, the PSG. Initially, we had a hard time trying to talk to company about job redesign. Okay, first and foremost, there's a lot of resistance. And when we start to look at it, we realize a lot of companies don't even have a proper job description sometimes to begin with, and or outdated for that matter. Now, moving forward, with all this disruption happening, digitalization, you realize that a lot of our job roles or tasks will be changed. And seriously, that is actually a very big element in it. Now, training plays a part, job redesign plays a part, because you are interested to develop a career map for your staff. Okay? Now, and again, businesses cannot be just looking at just growth alone. Growth is important, but you have to be mindful that at the end of the day, the instruments that drive growth is basically people and technology. I was so glad that last year, all of us managed to put in place this thing word called job, skills, and technology. Because if you look carefully, yes, we need to develop future new jobs. We need new skills, and we need to embrace technology as an enabler for us to do the work. So these are things that are very important. If you ask me, we need to amplify this trust, the culture of trust, in a very strong manner. And how do we build trust? So I was wondering, when I first being introduced this word, I was asking my people, hey, how to build trust? Is it, I trust you, you trust me? It doesn't go that way. It's by our actions, the things that we're trying to do for the people, the employee, and in return, workers, you also need to reciprocate that part, because it's a two-way thing. It's a relationship. Okay, just like how we trusted our government during the pandemic. What was the initial message? Is to save lives, correct? Then after that, when things are more stable, we look at livelihood and how do we transform. And now we are moving towards endemic. Okay, so I think it goes the same. Company level is the same. Even in the family, it goes the same way. So I don't think I want to drag further. Then we talk about parenting after that. Okay?
Don't
Okay,
need to
now
talk
I think
about
that is how I advocate that. Employers, please do not neglect to build the culture of trust within the organization. If you're not done so, please start doing it. If you do not know how to do, talk to SNAF, talk to NTUC, will help you. Thank you. More CTC, yes. I think the vehicle to it is CTC, correct? That's where it builds, because why? When you form a training committee, someone is focused looking at it. So I think DSG just reminded me. Yeah, he always reminded me to do a lot of things for the employers. Year-end bonuses. Year-end bonus. Yeah, again, I think just to advocate NWC, if you're doing well, please do remember to share that with your workers.
Karen, can I add on that as well?
Sure, but I think DSG has a point he wants to
something.
make. Oh, okay, Jeremy, go first.
So it's about trust, right? The topic. So while I talk about loyalty, DSG brought out the important term trust. Yeah. May I just say that without trust, there will be no loyalty. So actually, trust comes first. So I want to also say that I'm glad that at least talk about career mapping. So the visibility of career mapping is absolutely important in a company. If I know where I will be next, it builds trust. And then for company that to decide, to cut away a training budget entirely during COVID-19 period, that certainly won't build trust, because that shows that company has no vested interest in the future of the employees. Yeah. So the other thing that someone talked about just now, when the company is doing transformation, and that is actually from within, you are trying to transform your company, yeah? The management should have the commitment to be inclusive, that everybody will get to stay in the job. Nobody will lose their job. Therefore, a lot of job redesigning, all this have to come, right? Because somebody else have to be reskilled to do other things. So that builds trust. So I think what is important is, I know coming from as a training provider, Al-Hub, I also know that, with my only third week now, let me try. We do have many tools available that we put together trying to help the companies. Yeah. So we have a company training committee starter kit, we have an NTUC operation and technology road mapping, and don't forget about our Al-Hub learning and development as a service. All these can bring together. The whole purpose is really to help companies to surface your needs, so that we can do planning together, and then we start designing the solutions. Solutions are plenty, I believe. Yes, some more we also choose to work with partners. IHL can also come in. So I think, I think that's the way to really build trust, and then to do better in our job.
Thank you, dear Chichi.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to also add on that, there is one other very important partner in this tripartite arrangement, which is government. So government has the resources to be able to back up some of these national schemes and efforts. And government also has actually the regulatory levers to be able to shape the behaviors and also to open up new possibilities. So I'm just wanted to acknowledge that point as well, that a lot of these things that we're trying to do requires not just employer and unions working closely together. That's very essential. But on top of that, actually bringing government into the picture to support in terms of financial resources, but also regulatory levers and opening up new possibilities, including the establishment of regulatory sandboxes for us to test new ideas. So this is the spirit in which I think we want to go into some of these initiatives. Earlier, SecGen in his opening remarks said, actually we don't know for sure whether all this will succeed, but it is an innovation. We are, after we dream, we dare, we do, we try. And some of it will succeed, some of it may not, but if we don't succeed, then that's where the trust also comes in, that because we are partners in this, we are able to then adjust, calibrate, and make it better. So version 1 is probably not going to be perfect, and I want to just echo what SG said. We welcome feedback from our users, our corporate partners, our workers, our members. Please share with us your feedback, areas where you think we can do better. Sorry, Jeremy, give you a lot of stress. Areas where we can do better, features that you want to see. So let us have those feedback, because we want to work with you to make this better and better as we progress along. Yeah, thank you.
And you raised the point about innovation sandboxes, and I'm going to look at the as the government representative, right, about that. As we try, as we dare, as we do and we try, what is your view on innovation sandboxes for these attempts?
I think, first of all, indeed, DSG are right that this is after all, the word is ecosystem, and ecosystem takes all different partners to build. NTUC, training providers, employers, workers themselves, and of course government. So that point we are very aware of, and we want to work very close together in partnership to build this. I think that with technology, with new ways, new demands in the workplace, new ways to deliver training, definitely when we look at how training is, how we do this, definitely there's a need for innovation. And the definition of innovation would be that some will work better than others. And we just need to go in with open eyes, know when to exit from some things if it doesn't seem to work, and to double down on some other things if it works. And most importantly, as DSG you said, to be able to be sort of sensitive to the feedback of companies, of workers, of trainees as to what work and what does not. So this is something that we are very aware of. Our partnership on the LXP platform is an example of where we want to look to see how to do some things differently, micro courses, micro learning, and so on and so forth. And so we'll continue down this path. We'll work closely, and we will find more room to allow experimentation, but also at the same time the very quick response to see, okay, this one maybe ahead of its time let's try this other thing. So this is something that we definitely want to work very closely, including with NTUC.
And that's it in itself is a mindset shift, I think. What do you all think that we are? Is it in our culture to say, okay, we try, and we quickly decide, we revise, we learn, or what? My sense is that this is something that's very new for the Singaporean culture.
Well, it's something which I think we can do more of, because in this new environment, things move very quickly and we must be prepared to try. But I would say it's not entirely new, Aaron, because we have also seen, especially, actually this is true for government, this is true for private sector definitely, and I would say it's also true for union. We have been innovating. We have, over time, been trying out different ideas. But I think what is important is, in the current environment, the timelines have been compressed. So we need to move faster now. I think Stephen mentioned speed is very critical. And we don't have the luxury of making sure that everything is ready before we start. We have to take the approach of, we start, we learn, we adjust, and then we try again if certain things don't work. Those that work well, we're going to scale it up and do more of it. So this whole process actually goes back to what we were discussing earlier about the importance of trust. You just imagine, you're crossing a river one stone at a time, right? Feeling our way forward one stone at a time. Do you feel more assured of moving forward if you know suddenly you fall into the water, your teammates are there to pull you back? You have more scope to then try new ideas, to experiment, because you know you have partners who will be there to support you and will pull you back rather than let you drift away. So I think that's really what we are trying to make full use of our tripartism to allow us to experiment and innovate.
And I think the idea that I'm taking away, DSG, from what you said, is that you don't have to do this alone.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't have to face COVID, and we can do it together, and that's the way forward. Yeah. Stephen, you?
Yeah, can I just add on? Yes, definitely don't do it alone. Do it together. First, the risk spread out, you get more ideas. Collaboration is a very important word, okay, other than I mentioned speed. Now, reason is that it's the same thing about organizations. The senior leaders don't do it alone. They do it with a team. I think that also advocates why there's a need to form a training committee. Now I think it's called complete transformation training committee. as one word. Now, that is important. And by you coming together to do it, incidentally, we also have been seeing a lot of reports that the organization gets stronger and stronger. And what actually the element of it is trust over time. And the more you do it together, the more you share and people participate rather than always a decision being made and become like a standing order. And then from there, you also realize your other potentials within your workforce that are good for some reason, that are willing to take the lead to lead others as well. That's how you identify leaders along the way. So I think I strongly agree. Yes, company should look at innovative way of doing it. Don't look at the very traditional. Be open about it. Okay, even though organizations have hierarchy, when it comes to work, sometimes I always tell my staff, just feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But again, you have to let me know and give the reasons. I think that's how we can be that open. And you realize that over time, that relationship established, the loyalty is there. I don't know, you call it trust over time. Okay, so that's how we should work. And the other thing that I want to take this opportunity, not because Koyam just came on board, but again, there are policies that we hope that is enabling for businesses, for partners, and without we trying and take some risk, we never get there. Okay, it's just only a matter of what is the calculated risk. So I think we should be willing to take a bit of risk and fail fast is the term. Okay, and learn from the failure and do it better. In fact, that's how a future organization should behave. Okay, now, the only thing is that how do we bring our people along? Inclusive is the word, and how do we help those that need more help along the way? So I think this is what we should be doing in the areas of transformation. Yes, the trust is a very important factor. I think Jeremy has mentioned that. We realize that without the endorsement coming from the senior management and even the champion, the staff, nothing gets there. Okay, so again, let me just advocate constantly learning how to learn. That's training, it's important. You'll be surprised, if every day you spend half an hour, 1 hour, and over time you build up that knowledge, you never know that you know when you're going to use it. And that is how we learn. I think today we have LXP. It's supposed to be bite-sized learning, but do believe that you still need a proper workshop to learn certain skills. That's important. But I always take that as an augmented learning sometimes. It's a form of learning, and true enough, micro-learning really helps in some organizations, especially I was told in the hotels and certain trade. You got this briefing. Now a lot of these things been done on the handphone. While taking your transport, you already get briefing done on the handphone itself. And by the time you reach there, you just ask questions. And it saves so much time.
Okay, since we're talking about training, I'm going to take some questions from the Slido. There are a couple of questions here about credentials. One of the questions says, any credit to tertiary certificate? Another question is about micro-credentials are an interesting idea, but does it really help if employers don't recognize it? What are your thoughts, panel? So this is about training, but also, will I get a certificate after that, and will the employers then recognize it?
Maybe I'll go first, yeah? I think my fellow panelists will probably be able to add. I'll just say very quickly, yeah? There are two aspects here, the way I see it. Today, I think I can say that I'm starting to feel the shift. There are employers who say that I do not necessarily look at your certificates before I hire you. So if the employers start to shift, they also don't look at the credential come from a university, that will help. That's one aspect, yeah? Because what really also help is when you have this degree, let's say for example engineering, engineer do all kinds of jobs, right? No, but in real life, you learn a lot more things, on the job. Your experience counts, that's skills-based. So if we start to realize that the skills-based part is also important, then the credential not necessarily need to come from university, the recognized university, yeah? So if you come from any very good training provider and it gives you very solid contents that can prepare you to do the job, I felt that you should recognize it. So the thing is, are we able to convince employers what I provide is giving you that? So I think the shift have to happen, and then increasingly, then the emphasis of that paper coming from which good university need not necessarily be the one. Yeah, that's my view.
I think this is as we say, SkillsFuture is a movement, and it takes different parts of the ecosystem to move. From the sort of credential providing institution, our IHLs and so on. The move is really about how we can associate some of these smaller causes with a larger tree, how to make it stackable so that it is part of a larger, it works towards a larger ADIP, for example, and so on. And it's also about the universities and the polys and so on being a little bit more flexible in recognizing what counts towards the degree. So last week, SUSS was sharing with me that they did an MOU with SIA where they recognize some of what SIA is doing in-house, experience and training, as counting towards, I think it was a master's, if I don't get, if I can't, I mean, it might be an AD or master, but in any case. So that's one part from the sort of training provider's perspective. From the employer's perspective, I think it is about going through that exercise of being able to recognize skills and being a little bit more specific about what you require of the employee. It's always easy if you are, as I mentioned, if you're hiring someone to say, yeah, well, I just need someone with 5 years experience in the same job, then I just take off. But actually, it's a little bit more difficult when you say, okay, I need this set of skills, therefore he goes to take these courses, he goes to LXP and tops up, or whatever the case may be, and then work towards either hiring that person and topping him up, or looking at someone internal to the company and topping him up. So I think all parts of the ecosystem has to move for this sort of currency of skills to work.
DSGC, you wanted to add?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think Kok Yam is right that you need a sort of a coordinated approach. Because you see, if we leave it to free market, any training provider will come and sell Goyo to you and say that my training course is very good, and after you take my training course, you can get all these credentials. And sometimes the problem then, like what you mentioned, the employer will say, this one not a very good course, not very relevant. Then to the trainee, I will have wasted time, money, effort, right? So to avoid that, we really want to work together and say, can we curate a structure where give people the confidence? It's like an accreditation system, recognition system. But to achieve that, you need trusted partners. Not every training provider can do this. Just as SSG, for example, you don't approve for everybody to use SkillsFuture's credit. LXP is one of the platforms that you have approved. I mean, we're not the only one, you have a few more. But it is one of the platforms that SSG has approved because you have looked at our system, you have looked at our courses, and you are sufficiently assured that the quality is there and the system is there. Yeah, so I think this is important. You give people the confidence. So I think we need to find a way to shepherd the process a little bit and not leave it too free market when it comes to this, because otherwise there will be a lot of wastage, a lot of inefficiencies, and don't necessarily achieve good outcomes. Employers play a very critical role. In fact, I would like to also call upon our employer partners to work with the unions, with NTUC, and with government to co-create and co-develop this, because we can't know what are the skills you're looking for unless you tell us. Okay, if you are looking to hire people for a new emerging area, it will be very helpful if from SSG, Learning Hub, NTUC's point of view, we know what you're looking for. Then we can work with you to develop those courses that will then be able to train the workers who are coming in, sometimes with some background, sometimes with no background, but at least we are then able to customize those courses to better fit your, it's a win-win. If you can do this well, then we avoid the problem of the worker going through training and then after that the employer say not recognized. Or, in the case of the employer, you can't find workers because the people who come and apply don't have the skills. We can bridge this gap through our tripartite partnership.
And I think, okay, I'm going to ask Alice about your experience, because when you did your OTR, you were moving into a very different field with very different skill needs.
Yes, we have moved, it's kind of still a little bit of relations from metal to plastic. But again, it's like, what I'm trying to say is having that, I don't know how to put into words, I'm sorry, but maybe you can help me. Yes, so it's like it's like we have to act fast. We have to decide whether are we going to transform the business. So from there, we also can start to plan, like staff training.
Yeah, and your staff training was actually based on your new needs.
Yes,
that you had worked through.
Yeah, so if you ask me about the certifications, do I recognize that? I guess as a SME owners, we don't. But yes and no. If you see a personnel is willing to upgrade themselves, you can see their attitude. They are very positive. They are willing to input a lot of effort into their works. So this is something I'm also looking at. Yeah, certifications are, I would say is yes and no. Yeah.
And then coming back to DSG's point, that in your case, it was about skilling towards a new work, a new job redesign, for your team members.
Just to clarify with Sister Alice, certification you're referring to like academic qualifications, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because there are two types. There's academic qualifications, and then there's a skills certification.
Looking at skill, of course, that is something
skills very important.
For engineering company, definitely we will look at that. Yeah.
And as you said, for the skill of the job. Okay, we're going to take one other question, and then I think that's our time. And it's an interesting one, but it's got a lot of votes. So I think this one's for you, DSGG, because it's about union reps are here too. We heard from the employers. Would be interesting to hear from the workers on their opinion on efforts, training and placement efforts. So DSGG, we want to share some of your experiences with workers and how they viewed the efforts.
Thank you very much for the question. Indeed, I think this whole transformation effort will not be effective if workers are not part of the solution. NTUC and our unions, our workers, must be embracing skills upgrading as a very key part of how we as a tripartite partner contribute to this whole national effort to grow our economy, to transform our enterprises, to build stronger capabilities, both enterprise and workforce, and to participate in the skills movement, skills future movement, lifelong learning. So we are, through our engagements with our workers and our members, playing an important role through our unions and our union leaders to encourage them, to mobilize them, and that's why you see one of our partners is OTCI. Okay, we didn't talk about it so much today, but OTCI focuses on training and upskilling our union leaders as one of their core missions. And as part of this training, it's about preparing our union leaders to be able to contribute to the whole transformation process. How do you convince employers and workers to support CTC, to use LXP? Union leaders actually are at the front line. They are playing a very critical role. So I think Sister Alice will be able to share, previously MIWU, now MU, Brother Teck Chuan and his team, and also your branch officials, the people who are in your company, your branch officials, work very closely with you, because they are the ones they have the good networks with the workers. And as I mentioned earlier, it sounds more convincing if it's a fellow worker explaining to them. And in addition to management speaking to them, there's an additional worker's voice to persuade fellow workers, our sisters and brothers, to come on board and to support the transformation. I think that's something which is very important, the buy-in and the support. So the second thing I would say is NTUC and also our unions are also very mindful that whether is it the progressive wage model or whether is it when it comes to giving our workers better jobs, lifelong employability, at the end, this can only come about if we have economic growth, if we have productivity improvements. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. So it is in our interest to make sure that our companies do well. When our companies do well, they can then create more jobs with higher pay for our workers. So this is a very different philosophy from the labor movements, the unions in many other countries, where it is about confrontation, it is about win-lose. I want to extract more from employers without thinking about whether that is sustainable or not. In our case, we have decided some decades ago with the modernization seminar that NTUC will not adopt that approach. Instead, we will use a collaboration approach. So over the years, that is what we have been doing consistently, but in the current environment, as I said, because of the compression of the transformation cycles, technology, changes becoming more prevalent, I think we need to step up further our tripartite partnership. We need to speed up our process of change management, and we need to then make sure that we bring the workers along. So this tripartite partnership becomes even more crucial in the current environment. We believe a good job is the best welfare for our workers. The best protection for our workers in this environment is to give them lifelong employability through lifelong learning.
Thank you very much. And I'm afraid that's all the time we have right now for our panel discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking my panel members for sharing their thoughts and for... And now I just want to invite DSG Chi to close us with your closing remarks.
I'll stand up. Yeah, thank you. So, sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, first I want to thank our partners from the private sector, SNAF, and also SSG, for signing this MOU with us to be part of LXP. LXP, as Sek-Chen mentioned in his opening remarks, is an innovation. We are trying it out, and we want to make this a useful tool for all of you and your workers. The value of LXP is something which, like if you look at any online platform, it will grow in value when more people sign up, when we have what we call a network effect, more data. Then the value of this platform, both to the workers and also to the employers and to the learning hub, will then increase. So this is actually what we hope to be able to do with your support, and I hope SNAF and also our corporate partners can help us. Word of mouth is very powerful. Share with your fellow business leaders, corporate leaders, your positive experiences working with us, using the CTC and using LXP. I think I can say this 1,000 times, it will not be as powerful as you saying it once. So we'd like to call upon you for your help and support. Help us to grow this network, because the more we grow this network, the more useful these platforms will be for all of us. So with that, let me thank everyone once again for your support, your partnership, and we hope that we can together co-create a better future for Singapore, for our companies, and for our workers. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, DSG Chi and panelists. Oh, SG.
Let me give you a live update on the outcome of the symposium. Sorry, this is an innovation outside of program. In the course of discussion, an employer already asked me to surface an idea that he has. Casual workers. Can we cross-train casual workers that are cross-deployable so that they are not tied into just job A, they can do job B, job C. A little bit like what Copton has discussed also. So when the casual worker is cross-trained, it will mean that the flexibility to HR and to the tauges online is more. So your businesses will be better. I'm appealing especially to the SME bosses online. Consider that possibility. And when NTUC steps in to help you cross-train the workers, the only one thing I ask you to help us do as well. Build the trust with our workers. Where they are cross-trained, you have productivity gains of, let's say, 30%. Can you share 15%, whatever may be a fair sum, with the workers? So this is a live story, okay? You probably can guess live who am I talking to just now, but I won't mention online. But these are real possibilities that we have discovered on the ground with different smaller companies. And when a big company comes in, it can be thousands of workers that can benefit. And I say, yes, we can do it. We will get in touch with your company and we will do so. And we have confidence that it can be achieved. Because we started with the healthcare system when Hong Tat was in MOH, together with the union, together with the hospitals. We wanted to relieve nurses of different levels of jobs and go upstream into more qualified things that nurses must be certified to do. So we actually cross-train front desk officers into measuring blood pressure all the way to extent of taking ECG, if I remember correctly. So that started the Healthcare Academy. And if I tell you the 2-year story, that was our first CTC. It started in 2018. And we built upon all the different lessons on E2I supporting, building the ecosystem, and now flipping the system around to put the Tauke at the center, the businesses at the center, so that you succeed. And I hope, not hope, I will hold you to it, that when you succeed, well, NTUC is a collaborative partner. When you succeed, make sure take care of our workers together. And the ecosystem will enjoy win-win. And I like what Hon Tak said. When the ecosystem, a small ecosystem, enjoys win-win across all the different clusters of our future economy, where they all succeed, it means that Singapore will have a seat at the table in the world, and will continue to make a good living, not just for ourselves, but anger in for our children and the future as well. Thank you very much, and good work to all the organizers. Thank you, employers. Thank you, government. Welcome on board. You will know more about tripartism more.
Thank you, SG. Thank you, DSG Chief panelists. And of course, we also want to thank our union representatives who are able to join us here today. With your efforts today, we are able to have this very fruitful discussion and your support for the companies. Sisters and brothers, we have now come to the end of the symposium. We would like to thank all our tripartite partners and guests, including participants online Zoom, who have taken your time to join us today. Thank you. To ensure your safety, we will now let our participants leave room by the table. Okay, so do ensure that all the participants in the same table have left before we can release the next table. So do stay seated until your table is named for leaving. Okay, so let's start with table 1. Okay, table 2. Okay, table 3. Do take your lift so that we can release the rest of the table. Oh, sorry. Please allow, for your patience and understanding, please stay at your table until your table is being named to lift. Okay, table 1 and 2, please take your lift. Okay, for the rest of the participants, please stay on first. So table 1 and 2, please take your lift. Okay, table 3. I don't think that. Shall we? Okay. Alright, we can proceed with the rest of the table. Table 4, table 5, table 6. Table 7 and table 8. Lastly, table 9 as well. Thank you.